the quiet romance of growing old together. A story about time, tenderness, and the truth of aging. There's a couple I know. Let's call them Henry and Margaret. Margaret married Henry when they were both young and full of dreams, back when gas was 30 cents a gallon and Elvis was still topping the charts. Today, they're both over 90. Their backs are a little hunched, their pace a bit slower, but there's a quiet devotion between them that speaks volumes. Every night, without fail, Margaret clips Henry's fingernails. She washes his feet gently in warm water. And this is not because her health is excellent, quite the opposite. Her knees ache, and she moves with difficulty. Yet she insists on caring for him herself, tenderly and without complaint. People often say, "Margaret, why don't you rest a little? Let the nurse handle it." But she always smiles and replies, "Back when we were younger, he took care of everything. Now it's my turn." There are no declarations of undying love, no dramatic gestures. But in that nightly routine, in the steady presence, in the way she dries his feet with a soft towel, there lies a kind of romance far deeper than candlelight and roses. That's the kind of love that holds strong in the face of loneliness. When the house feels too quiet. As we grow older, something begins to shift in the atmosphere of our homes. The children have grown up, married, moved to other states, some even to the other coast. The grandkids? They visit when they can, but life gets busy. Their social media feeds are filled with selfies and travel plans, not with thoughts of Grandma's Sunday roast. Suddenly, the house that once echoed with laughter, arguments, and footsteps now feels still. Too still. In the evenings, it becomes even more noticeable. A couple sits down for dinner. The television is on, some news, maybe a rerun of Jeopardy. The forks and knives move. The food is warm, but words? Few and far between. The meal feels more like a task than a connection. You want to say something. But what? After all these years, what's left to talk about? You've already told each other every story, and the news feels repetitive. And then night falls. The neighborhood quiets down. Outside, street lights flicker. The ticking of the kitchen clock suddenly sounds louder than ever. You look around, and it feels like the world has boiled down to just you and time. No fuss. No noise. Just an aching, creeping loneliness that rises like a tide. It's in moments like these that a gentle word, a kind touch, or a quiet hug can mean more than the most extravagant feast. Romance after 70. It's not passion, it's poetry. The Chinese philosopher Zhuangzi once said, "Shared joy is better than solitary joy." And that idea rings especially true in later life. By the time we're in our 70s or 80s, romance is no longer about flowers on Valentine's Day or grand gestures. It becomes something subtler, more enduring. It's about who can turn an ordinary Tuesday into a gentle poem, who can find sweetness in routine, beauty in boredom, and love in the laundry room. Aging couples don't need to argue over who left the cap off the toothpaste or who forgot to take their vitamins. These small things, left unchecked, can slowly chip away at intimacy. Instead, why not build common ground again? Plant some flowers together. Watch a TV series neither of you has seen. Take care of a cat. Read the newspaper out loud. Or sit and laugh about that time, way back when you both wore flared pants and danced a disco at the county fair. Life's little joys are often found in looking back together, in remembering the struggles you faced side by side, the victories you celebrated in small kitchens, and the dreams that slowly, wonderfully, came true. A hospital room is a mirror to a life. Not long ago, I spent some time at a hospital in upstate New York. My father had fallen and needed care, so I was there often delivering soup, speaking with doctors, sitting in waiting rooms. And during those many visits, I saw things I'll never forget. One day, as I walked past room 218, I caught sight of something that stopped me in my tracks. On the far bed, by the window, lay an elderly man. Alone. His eyes fixed blankly on the ceiling, not blinking much, not moving at all. His bedside table held a few pill bottles, a plastic water bottle, and a couple of half-eaten meals from a discount food delivery service. Not a single flower. Not a card. not a visitor. Meanwhile, the bed near the door? Overflowing with life. His roommate, about the same age, had a son, daughter-in-law, grandchildren, and even a neighbor or two dropping by with coffee and conversation. The room was full of chatter and warmth. Laughter echoed. Someone brought fresh fruit. A grandchild asked for help with homework. The contrast was painful. Later that day, a nurse aide whispered to me, "The man by the window has been here over a month." Not one visitor. Not a phone call.
Why?
What happened? She went on to explain that during his younger years, he was well off, had a good job, but treated his wife poorly. She was from a rural background, didn't have much schooling, and he never let her forget it. He insulted her, neglected her, sometimes worse. Their children, when they were older, begged their mother to leave. She finally did. Today, the kids live in cities like Chicago and Seattle. They send money for his care every month, without fail. But they don't visit. They don't call. They don't want to. This man, who once stood proud and strong, now lay alone, surrounded by machines and silence. His wealth could pay for caregivers and meals, but it couldn't buy what he now craved most: human warmth. That image stayed with me. It was a reminder that how we treat others, especially our spouses and children, has a way of circling back. What will your final days look like? Standing in that hallway, I couldn't help but ask myself a hard question. When I'm old, if I'm lying in a hospital bed, who will come to visit? We hope it'll be our children, but life doesn't always go that way. They have jobs, families, stress, and responsibilities. Even if they live in the same city, they may not have the emotional space to be there every day. Friends? They're wonderful, but they, too, have their own health to manage. A quick visit now and then is a gift, not something we should expect constantly. Paid caregivers? They're doing their jobs. They're kind, yes, but theirs is a professional duty, not a bond born of decades. And so the question becomes, what kind of relationships are we cultivating today? The truth is, there's no shortcut. Love, loyalty, and respect must be earned and nurtured over time. Like planting a tree, we must water it, give it sunlight, remove the weeds. Family bonds, friendships, and marriages, they need tending. Not just when we're in need, but consistently, even when life feels full. Your spouse, the one who will likely be there in the end. In the end, your spouse, the one who knows where you keep your extra socks and how you like your eggs, is the person most likely to sit by your hospital bed. Not the coworker you once had a drink with. Not the cousin who only sends holiday cards. Not the neighbor who waves but rarely speaks. No, it's the partner you've shared 1,000 ordinary Tuesdays with. So don't neglect that person. Don't let distance grow simply because you've grown older. Conclusion: what kind of old age are you building? A hospital room is more than 4 walls and some medical equipment. It's a mirror. It reflects not only our bodies, but the lives we've lived and the relationships we've cultivated. If we've offered warmth, love, kindness, chances are we'll receive it in return. If we've burned bridges, neglected those closest to us, or held grudges, we may find ourselves staring at the ceiling alone. So, today, if you still have the chance, call that friend. Hug your spouse. Send your child a kind message. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know that these are the things that make life rich. Growing old is not a tragedy. Growing old without connection is. If this message touched you, please consider sharing it with someone, a friend, a sibling, or your partner. You never know who might be feeling lonely today and could use a reminder that it's never too late to plant seeds of kindness. Thank you for reading. And until next time, may you grow old gently, surrounded by warmth, and never forget to cherish those who sit at your table today.